People. Que pasa, sakpa, say what they do. Welcome to Crime Time News, where the difference is in the meds. Call it news with a buzz. One of the hottest topics on social media in the news in a real life is the pay heist that was given to your parliamentarian. Ridiculous, enormous, a scam, a sham, in which some persons are getting in excess of 100%, 200%, 300% excessive. However, we see that your finance minister, Dr. Nigel Clark, your prime minister, the information minister, and even some of the people at the PNP have accepted in agreement with the BS, the heist that has been going on. What is even worse is that these people, they are wrong and they are strong. It seems as if they are in deep denial. So therefore, they do their deed instead of being remorseful, instead of coming out and try to justify the situation. It seems as if every time they talk, it is as if they make less sense and less sense. It is as if they really take the people of Jamaica for some sorts of JACKASSES. So people, the finance minister, Dr. Nigel Clark, is supposed to be some sorts of financial wizard. However, when people have conflict of interest, whenever persons are corrupt, whenever persons are greedy, they are going to do stuff that is in the best interest of them and their cronies who are crooks themselves, not in the best interest of Jamaica. However, it is to the detriment of the finances of Jamaica. That means that you and I as taxpayers, we are the ones that are going to be footing the bill. We are the ones that are not a part of the decision-making process. However, the foolish amongst us are the ones that continue to vote for these people. So people, we've listened to your prime minister, we've listened to your finance minister, we've listened to your information minister. People, I am going to let you take a listen, take a look to what an expert in finance actually has to say, his opinions and views of that of Nigel Clark, the prime minister and the information minister and all others that are a part of the conspiracy. Take a listen, take a look, and then I'll give my piece.
I've been outlining my position as I'm saying to you that if you look at the world's largest economy, the Republic of the United States of America, with a GDP of $26.5 trillion. If you look at the Republic of the United States of America with a per capita income of $70,248, compared to Jamaica with a per capita income of $5,000. The President of the Republic of the United States of America, in Jamaican dollar terms, he gets $60 million a year. But he's running the biggest economic machine in the world. He's also the policeman of the world. And he gets 60 million. Our Prime Minister gets 30 million based on these increases. If you look at the U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, who manages a $6.9 trillion budget, one of the stupid excuses the Finance Minister gave yesterday was that Jamaica's Financial Secretary, who is going to get 24 million, is managing $1 trillion Jamaican dollars. Janet Yellen is managing $6.9 trillion US dollars for $33 million per year. The American Chief Justice, John Roberts, he gets 41.5 million Jamaican dollars per year for managing the Supreme Court of the Republic of the United States of America with a population of 330 million people. The chairman of the Federal Reserve Board, Jerome J. Powell, he gets $30 million Jamaican per year for managing the world's monetary system, which is way below what our central bank governor gets. So I'm saying to you that it is outrageous and unproductive. In a capitalist system, your wages are supposed to be determined by your productivity. Now, any Jamaican can tell you, based on the standard of living in Jamaica, low per capita income, inadequate investments in education, science and technology, research and development, these things are outrageous. It is going to increase the level of income inequality in the country. It is going to create more apathy in the country. It is going to drive inflation because the people in the private sector can now say, we can go to the public sector and get better pay without working because there is no system of monitoring in the public sector. It's very bad at this time, and for Julian Robinson to get up yesterday and say, we don't have a problem with it, and we are wondering if you are going to give some more money to retired politicians too, is outrageous. Doesn't make any economic sense. And I was telling you before, the budget, $367 billion for compensation from a $1.03 trillion budget is not good economics. I told you that a long time ago.
Yes, you did. How do you reconcile what the minister is saying in relation to, listen, I've undertaken a public sector compensation reform that has resulted in headmasters going from 2 million to 6 million, junior doctors at a certain level going from 1.8 million to 6 million. So they are getting more than 200 to 300% increases at certain levels. How do you reconcile what he's saying in relation to those people and what he has?
It doesn't make any sense for two reasons. Because you just pointed out the accountability that those people are subject to. That's one.
Yes.
And two, the lack of accountability that the finance minister and his colleagues are subject to. And then the proportionality. Now, when you look at moving from 9 to 28 and all those figures compared to those people, it is outrageous. No matter what he says, he's talking foolishness.
I need something more than that, though, because if we are saying that he's talking foolishness, and I have no doubt, but if he is saying, listen, across the board we have made these kind of moves.
So it means that we are supposed to get that too. And I'm saying to you, the finance minister says he's a neoliberal, right?
Yes.
The neoliberal philosophy, John Bates Clark, J.B. Clark from Columbia University, it is called the marginal productivity of labor theory, is that your wages must be connected with your productivity. Now, if we were to look at the productivity of the system, as we said before, per capita GDP in Jamaica is 5,000. In the U.S. it is 70,000, 14 times more. So why should Jamaican officials' pay be so close to those of the U.S. officials?
We get some American coming out here wanting to get our top job in the political direction.
Precisely.
You touched on something, and it was something I was going to ask you about, because I haven't heard any of the experts talk about it. And it just sums up how I feel about the capitalist system. And I know it's anachronistic, and I know I'm archaic, and I know I don't have no talk. But it burns me in my craw that when you all talk about inflation and the impact of inflation and what it means for ordinary people, and we need to get it down because it's gonna impact ordinary people. And yet nobody, until you just mentioned it, has suggested any impact of these increases on inflation.
Yeah, but it is going to drive inflation because it is not backed by productivity gains. In fact, we're under-investing in the things that are needed to drive productivity. We're under-investing in education. We just heard the minister, Daryl said they wanted to spend 1.5% of GDP on science and technology. 1.5% of GDP is like $50 billion. And they only spent $839 million. Think about that.
Oh, gosh.
The whole thing is a joke.
It's not really a joke, it's a scam.
Yeah, man.
And we are getting caught up in it again. But you know what? People run out and vote based on, as I heard somebody mention this morning, the couple of plates of curry goat and 2 beer. And that's what they vote on. And unfortunately, they are the ones who determine where we go every 5 years.
Yes.
And I don't know, there's a level of frustration. And one day, as Bob Marley said, one day the bottom going to drop off.
Yeah, man.
And we are going to wonder what hit us and where it came from. And nobody is going to join the dots and just say, you know what? The ordinary people say enough is enough. Because if you are being held accountable, if you have a recall system, if you have a man who beat somebody with a stool and then run him out of parliament, if you have somebody who thief something, grass, whatever, and then run him out of parliament, if you have accountability for the people that have led us since 1962,
yeah, man.
and Delroy Chuck himself told me on a program along with Hilton of the Augustown variety as opposed to Anthony Hilton, Andre Hilton.
Andre, yeah.
They admitted that the political directorate has failed Jamaica since independence,
right.
and yet
they're getting these massive salary increases.
Yeah, and throughout that whole period, not even a semblance of accountability.
Yeah.
Barely a resignation for any failure.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are. And I don't deny these people their value. I don't deny them salary increases. But it must, like everybody else, it must be matched to performance.
By productivity and performance, and we can measure it.
Yeah.
And based on the measurements that we have, they don't deserve that.
But if it is, them owe we money.
Yeah, of course.
Now, people, like me say, this man is an independent thinker. This man does not have a horse in the race. This man is giving his opinion based on his expertise, based on his skill set as an economist. And he is saying that you cannot compare apples to oranges. You cannot be making the same amount of money or even more than a country such as United States, world power, first world country that has a budget of 26-point-something trillion versus Jamaica, $1 trillion. So therefore, less, way less. You cannot be given the same pay as a country that has an average $70,000 per capita per person versus $5,000 in a Jamaica. US 70,000, Jamaican $5,000. The President of the United States make about 60 million, the equivalent of 60 million Jamaican dollars. Our Prime Minister is going to be said to be making $28 million. So therefore, he is going to be making almost half of what the President of the United States is making for way less. The population of Jamaica, 3 million or so. The population of United States, over 300 million. Therefore, he is monitoring the affairs of 100 times more than Jamaica is making, but he gets a little over double what the President or the Prime Minister of Jamaica is making. The Chief of the Bank of Jamaica makes more money than the actual Chief of the Bank of America. People, I want you to listen to the difference in thoughts, frame of thoughts of Nigel Clark, who is an economist, supposed to be a genius, supposed to be a brilliant mind. What he has to say versus what this man has to say. There is no sort of way that you can compare or compete in any sort of economy with your pay jumping from $9 million to $28 million. It makes absolutely no sort of economic sense. No sort of theory in economics would back this. It is only going to drive inflation because there is not productivity. These parliamentarians, politicians are not held accountable, so therefore there is no sort of performance. So in essence, this man is telling us, this man is warning us, be very careful when you have the fox, the wolves, the hyena watching the chicken cub, being in charge of Jamaica's purse. This is not only a joke, this is a scam, this is a sham. However, the people, they are still voting for them. So therefore, that is what is going to happen until the bottom of the barrel drops out, and people, there is going to be some sort of revolution before anything change in Jamaica. Because once you have people that are the leaders and then the sheepers, they are DUMB as FUCK. This is what is going to happen over and over and over. And people, like me say, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. point blank and period. So anyways, people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like these, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. Bless up.